Welcome to the Inside Job, excuse me. I want to thank LATV, Kyle, Jack, Jane, Robert, and anybody else that support us in this endeavor. My name's Ron. I'm alcoholic addict. And my good friend Gilbert is here today to share. We go back a long time, and he's a good man. I always begin with excerpts from a book by Dr. Gabor Mate. He's an MD. He is up in Vancouver, Canada, downtown East Side, and he works with some hardcore addicts. And man, I've never read a book as insightful as him. But addiction, quote, biological, chemical, neurological, physiological, medical, social, political, economical, spiritual, and I believe we don't understand this epidemic that's going on. Some of us, yes. A lot of us, yes. But the numbers keep rising. And so we need more focus on this thing, is my opinion. Anyway, so again, thank you, Gilbert, for coming in.
You're welcome.
We're going to begin.
Okay.
How old are you?
I am 58.
58.
Yeah.
You look great. I say that in every show. So, but you do look great. How old were you when you started with drugs and alcohol?
I started at a very young age. I was in junior high school. I say I must have been at least 14.
Okay.
14.
And what was it that you began with?
My first drug that I did was acid.
Whoa.
Yeah. And then I evolved to pot, and then drinking, and drinking became my drug of choice. You know, I did all the other stuff, all the other drugs. So, like cocaine. When I was laying on the ground falling down drunk, I would do cocaine. So, and I'd rise back up, and I'd be able to stay up another 4 or 5 hours and drink more than what I did when I fell down on the ground. And cocaine helped me stay, you know, alert. Yeah. And that's why I did that. I was mostly addicted to uppers. I mean, I did the Crossroads, I did crystal meth, and also the Overstats back in the day, and the Black Beauties.
I remember them, the Overstats.
The Black Beauties, and it was all related so I could drink more.
Yeah.
It was always so I could drink more. Yeah.
Boy, I remember those Overstats. Strip speed, boy, that stuff was good.
Yeah.
So you believe that you were an addict just waiting to be?
Right from the beginning.
Did it run in your family?
It does run in my family.
Yeah.
Yes. My family, I live with my brother. He drinks, and he's into the smoking the weed. That's it for him. He doesn't drive when he drinks. He don't think he has a problem. I do, but I can't tell him that, you know. I just say, hey, if you ever want to get sober, you know, and he knows it. He says if I ever drank, that I would be out of the house. Because he knows my drinking. He knows my drinking. When I used to drink, I used to steal his booze. I used to steal my father's booze. And there was never none in the house because they know when I showed up, they hid it or they did something with it. But because I would drink it all, you know. Yeah, that's the way I was.
You were like me.
Yeah.
Never enough.
Never enough. Never.
And I was just waiting also. I grew up in it.
I never OD'd on any of the drugs or anything, but I think it was the deep down feeling inside, that you're worthless. The drugs and alcohol
You think
make
that's what it was?
Yeah,
When
it
you-
makes you feel worthless,
Yeah.
and a lot of stuff in my life wasn't going right too,
And so that helped you.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, me too.
Recovery helped me a very, very lot. I'll tell
Yeah.
you, if it wasn't for AA or I also went to Narcotics Anonymous, but I stayed with AA.
Yeah.
But I went to both, and I got what was going to keep me clean. I stayed what was going to keep me clean, and that was AA.
When did you know that you had a problem?
I knew when I had a problem when the cops were pulling me over for nothing, Well, I say it was for nothing, but it was for stuff I did wrong, Drunk driving. My first involvement with the laws, I was getting high and drinking, and I had a dirt bike, and I was driving it on the road, and the cops were trying to pull me over. I wouldn't stop. I run into I have a dirt bike. I go in the woods. They never catch me till they found out who I was. And then they got a hold of my mother, and she took the key out of my bike, said, "You ain't driving the bike till you." I had to go see the police officer. So I had to go to court.
How old were you, do you think?
I was,
then?
I think I was 16 at the time.
And that's when you knew you had a problem?
Not then. It's when I started getting the driving unders, and
Yeah.
I wasn't getting along with my family, and I knew there was something the matter because when I was younger, I knew I got along with my family,
Yeah.
But when I started getting involved with drugs and alcohol, my family was the furthest away from me that they could be, And my mother and father always told me, "I wish you'd get sober." Your life has become a mess, and at that time, it made me think, It made me think, and he says, "Yeah, I do have a problem." And then, I went to Norcag Hospital in Ashburnham when I was 20 years old.
What year?
Boy, I think it was back at 70.
Oh.
Yeah, it was back 79, around in that
Wow.
area. I was 20 years old. Yeah, I was 20. And of course, I'm a young kid. I brought my pot with me, and I didn't get to stay there. Margie Dunton was I think she was a chairperson or something there.
No,
and,
she owned it.
Oh yeah, she did. Yeah, she did own it, and she knew I had the weed. I had it
she
in my
did?
drawer. Yeah, I put it in my drawer, and they found it, and they brought me in, and they threw me out. And that was where the seed was planted, I think, at that time.
How long were you there?
About a week.
But you still attended some meetings there,
No.
right? No?
No, I didn't attend no meetings. After she threw me out, as soon as she threw me out, I grabbed my car, I went right to the package store, and I started drinking again.
Huh?
I had a long, long time of bouncing in and out, in and out, in and out. I was 20 years old. Another 3 years later, back with the,
Let me interrupt.
All right.
Did you know you had a problem when you were at Knockegg? What got you up there? That was a treatment facility which I went through and lived there after way back, early days of alcohol treatment center. And Marge was a wild woman. She was sober, and she knew how to get other people sober. So did you know you had a problem then?
It was kind of, I went there because of my job and
your
my
job.
family, and, nothing was going right, so I wanted to try it out, see maybe there's something to this AA,
Yeah.
maybe I can get a better life,
Yeah.
and it was another 6 years till I went back again.
To Knockegg?
I went back to Norkeg.
Susan must have been there.
Al's wife was there.
Okay.
What's her name?
Dale.
No, Al Goldman.
Martha.
Martha. Martha was there when I was there. And I got a little something better at that. I didn't bring my weed with me. I stayed sober for the 30 days. Jack Brazel was my
Mine too.
my counselor, and I picked up a little bit more, but still at a young age, marijuana's okay, alcohol isn't.
Yeah.
So I stayed sober for 5 years.
Wow.
But I
Still with the weed.
still smoking the pot, you know? And then after 5 years, I relapsed again, you know?
You picked up a drink.
Picked up a drink. That one drink, that's all it took.
How
And then
was
I
that sobriety, just not drinking and just the weed?
It was good. I was
Yeah.
married, and I got along with my
Oh, yeah.
wife, and, you know, everything was going hunky-dory, you know? But when I picked up that drink, and then my marriage got all a mess, my job got a mess again, the same job that I went, because I was at this job for 20 years.
Yeah.
And they see me go through a lot of stuff at my
Yeah.
job, I mean, and they say, you know, you need some help, you know, and because I was going to work, I was smelling of alcohol, and, you know, they know, and I said, you know, you can't come in like that. We got dangerous machines here, we'll take off your hand in a second. And I go, yeah, I know, I've been trying to, you know, for a few years, I told them. And he says, I know, you've had some good recovery, and then now you're back to where you are again, you know? It didn't take long for me to get back to where I was
Right.
when I picked up that first drink,
How
you
long?
know? Oh, it only took me like 4 or 5 months. I was back to being
Hardcore,
crazy, and it's terrible. Back to the drugs again, the coke, and back everything, you know.
But they were supporting you through this whole thing work.
Yes, my
Yeah.
work. That's what was good about my where I worked. They supported me through this whole ordeal.
And they must have liked you when you're on
I
the
was a
beat.
good worker.
Yeah,
I was there
I'm
all the
sure.
time. I had
Yeah.
to be to work so I could buy my alcohol. I
Yeah.
had to make money, you know. I wasn't one of those street panhandlers. I was how would you say that?
I forget what they call it.
I survived. I didn't,
Yeah.
you know, I just functioned.
Yeah, a functioning alcoholic.
Yeah.
And drug
Yeah.
addict. Yeah. Yeah.
Towards the end, though, I was a mess. I couldn't even go to work, or, you know, I was on unemployment, and they wanted me to go there. I'd go there, and you know, I'd tell them, you know, I give them a hard time.
Yeah.
They could smell I was drinking, and, you know, and they just try to get me in the door and out the door, you
Yeah.
know. But
Yeah.
you know,
So 20, and then 26.
Yeah.
You had a good spurt for
Yeah,
5 years.
yeah.
You picked up. How long did that go?
that went for another 7
me.
years.
7.
7 years after that. And I was married at the time, and my wife wasn't a drinker, but she was a drug addict too, but she has muscular dystrophy, and she had to have the drugs.
Oh.
But she got addicted too. I had to bring her
Sure.
I had to bring her somewhere too to get clean off of the opiates, you know, and now she's doing fine. She's got a little bit diabetes, but this is about, you know, about me and my alcoholism, but I'm not going to talk about
Yeah.
her that much.
Yeah.
You know, but and it ruined my marriage. Drinking
Yeah.
and alcohol ruined my
Yeah.
marriage.
Yeah. So the 7 years, did you make it with your wife? Or at what point?
I was
did
with
you-
my wife for 14 years. The last 5 years were the worst with me and her. She
Yeah.
would cry for me to go get help,
Yeah.
and I'd get drunk, and I said, yeah, I'm going to go get help. As soon as I got sober, I would say, oh, I don't need that.
Oh, yeah.
You know, as soon as I was sober, I didn't need it.
How many times we heard that in the program?
Oh, I must have said it about 1,000 times.
And other people
1,000 times,
also.
yeah.
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 You hear it just constantly.
Yeah.
You know, Gilbert and I follow the 12-step program. That's how we got sober. and that has worked for us. He's still sober. I'm still sober. I've been sober 35 years, and I still go to AA. In fact, if it works out, I'll be going to the midday meeting, and that's where all my friends are.
Yeah.
You too, I'm
Yeah.
sure, basically.
Yeah, most of my friends are sober now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see, next question. So you know when you had a problem, what, it just came up to me, what do you think your life would have turned if you would have got it at 20 years old?
It would have been jail.
No, but when you tried to get sober at 20 years old, when you went to Narcag, if you would have got the program then?
If I would have got it then, I think I would have had a better life.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
my drinking and my alcoholism wasn't, it's stuff that I like to forget about, but I need to know what happened to
Yeah.
me because it reminds me not to drink.
yeah. Right. And that's why we go. One
Yeah.
reason why we
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
We hear what's going to happen when, somebody decides to go back out for a weekend. I've heard it all in the 35 years. I've heard it all. I'm on vacation. Nobody's here. I'll just
Yeah, you can have
pick
one
up a
drink and that's it, yeah.
And in a small, just like you said, in a small amount of time, you're right back where you were. Somebody explained it to me is an old vinyl record. The needle's down, boop boop. You're going up. Pick the needle up. But when you start again, that goes back to just where you were, or
Exactly.
worse.
Exactly.
Because the guilt. Anyway.
And spiritual too. I was never spiritual during my alcohol. I was spiritual when I was growing up, when I did catechism and stuff.
Yeah.
I was very spiritual with God and stuff. And then when I started drinking and stuff, that all went away. All went away,
Yeah.
And then now in my sobriety, I'm very spiritual. I believe in whatever you want to call it, God
Yeah.
or your higher power. I'm very spiritual with that. And help another alcoholic,
Right. The next right thing.
Yeah.
The next right thing.
Yeah.
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 So you know what age you had a problem.
Yeah.
How many detoxes? I guess.
I
I'm
wa-
sorry when I snicker sometimes
No.
because
But
we
I mean,
know.
that brings me back. I mean, I kind of remember how many detoxes I went to. I went to the Leominster detox, and they always brought me to Norcag, back to Norcag.
Yeah.
I always ended up there. But like I said, the second time I went, there was a seed planted.
Yeah.
And then because of my marriage, I went to Beach Hill. So that's the third one.
Yeah.
Well, that's the fourth because I went to detox in Leominster
Right.
here. And then after that, I went to AdCare, and that's when it clicked. Only 5 days.
At AdCare in
Yeah.
Worcester.
Yeah.
Good program.
And I was only there 5 days, but whatever they said to me clicked. And I've been sober ever since.
You don't remember basically what they were saying or why it clicked?
Well, they were saying, when you get out of here, you get to 90 meetings in 90 days. Get a sponsor. Go to all sorts of meetings. Don't just go to one different meeting. Don't go to one meeting for 90 days. Go to different meetings. Get someone that you can talk to. Get some numbers. Get numbers so you can talk to people and get out of yourself. And you can bounce stuff off of them if you're struggling and stuff. And back when I was at Norcag, they never said, they said go to meetings, but they never said get numbers or that
Yeah.
stuff. They're just trying to get you recovered there,
Right.
and then what you do when you get out of there is what you do, And so after this Norcag trip, I got in a car accident.
Oh.
That's how I got to AdCare.
Okay.
And I woke up the next morning in a blackout.
Ooh.
And I didn't know if I killed somebody
Yeah.
or I hit someone and took off. I mean, that morning was very, very, I woke up early in the morning, like at 5 o'clock. And
In jail or
at my house.
Oh, at your house.
And my father was yelling at me and my brother, what the
Yeah.
hell is the matter with you?
Yeah.
Go outside and look at what? And I didn't know what happened.
Right.
And I went out and my van was all pushed in, the back tire was peeled around the axle, and I looked up into the sky and I said, this is it. This is it. I gotta quit. I gotta quit. And I walked to my cousin's house at 5 in the morning, and he gave me a ride to AdCare Hospital. Wow. And that's where my journey pretty basically began.
Yeah.
You know?
So four detoxes.
4.
But a long run of alcohol.
Long run.
In and out, in and out, in and out.
Yeah, long run.
Horrible.
It's terrible. It's terrible.
Yeah.
You know?
I have found, and I have watched, experienced through the years, that you just can't pick up that drink. And one of the reasons, when you're, well, I'm talking about the 12-step program now. When you're out there by yourself, you're all alone.
Yeah.
What happens when you get those cravings that can last a long time, especially opiates? It has to be the worst for trying to get clean and sober. And they're dropping and dropping.
Yeah.
Jack in here, his, Larry DiGeronimo, the guy he works with. We look in the paper in the morning.
Every day.
How many friends have we lost? Gilbert?
I've lost a lot of friends.
One day they're there,
Next day they're in the casket.
So to be out there alone, it's just so difficult. That's why we have numbers. That's why we have friends for when that comes down, when that thought comes down. A little trigger, big trigger, something.
Doesn't matter. It could be little, small, big.
Yeah, and boom. But we have the ability to get to that meeting, spill our guts, and there's no doubt you're coming out of there feeling a little better, but also safe.
Yes.
You're feeling safe.
Safe.
How many meetings you go to a week?
Well, I work 2 jobs, so I work a night job and a day job, but I do about almost 5 meetings a week.
Yeah, that's good.
And it's hard.
How many years you been?
I've been sober 14 years.
14 years, long time. Yeah. Yeah.
No. My sobriety date is May 25th, 2003.
Oh, so it's coming up.
Yeah.
15.
14.
Yeah. 14.
I'm 13. I have 13 years of sobriety.
No, I'm coming up May 6th, and I went right into narcotic, and I'm so fortunate. I never looked back. I've been sober ever since. I'm 70 years old. I just turned 70 years old. Half my life I've been sober. The other half, I grew up in it. Okay. Jack just gave me a note here. It says, what is a 12-step program? You know, there's some traditions and other things. I believe it's changing as AA and NA have changed, but one of the traditions doesn't like to be a program of what is it called? Promotion. But for me, and it's a big organization, I really don't care. And there aren't any AA police. There might be some people that get mad, but I haven't run into that yet.
No.
You know? No. And so 12-step is NA, AA, and it's used for so many other things. OA, Gamblers Anonymous, but it's hope. We go in there, especially when we're just coming around. We see that it's the hope and it's the experience and the people we can go to when it. So I hope that answers that, Mr. Jack. So let's proceed. So I don't know if I asked you, but it would be, of course, 14 years ago. What age were you when you finally got it?
45.
You were 45.
Yeah.
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 That was a long. I was 34, and I consider myself lucky.
See, I tried to get sober at 20. I always say this when I'm at a meeting, when I'm speaking at the podium. I said, I tried to get sober when I was 20, and I didn't stay sober till I was 45.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It took that long, almost 20
Yeah.
years for me
Yeah.
to really
Yeah.
get a sober, solid program.
Right.
You know?
So I know you've explained it in depth, but lost my thought, and it happens. Like I
Yeah,
said,
yeah.
I'm 70. Maybe it'll come up to me. So 45,
Yeah.
you got sober.
Yeah. And clean.
And clean.
And clean.
Me too.
The pot, everything
Yeah.
done.
Yeah. How many people we know? First of all, how many people that we know 5 years, you know, and things come up? Family, job, kids, the whole thing. And it's so easy to do, just to back away to 3 meetings or whatever, 2 meetings, and then nothing.
Yeah.
And then
They're
what do we
in
see
the hospital, they're
Yeah.
dead, or
Yeah.
they're coming back
Yeah.
with their tail between their legs. You know?
Yeah.
Sad.
And we welcome them back.
Yes, we do.
And we also listened to them what it was like out there.
Yes, yes.
And there was an old saying, yeah, you did that for me. I'm getting your knowledge from.
Yeah.
From.
Yeah. Another
that.
thing I want to say, I lost my house in sobriety.
Yeah.
I lost a job in sobriety, 20 years of $22 an hour, and I stayed sober.
Yeah.
Because of this program.
Yeah.
You know, if I was just outside the AA halls, smoking outside, not listening
Yeah.
to nothing, I wouldn't have made it through that.
No.
And I did have some people in my close corner to help me get through that.
Yeah. I remember you losing the house. I was
Yeah.
just talking to Susan,
Yeah.
my wife, and
I stayed
how you
sober.
went through that,
Yeah.
and you stayed sober.
Yeah.
How many years you have the house?
I had it for about 7 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then.
I did a lot of work to it and everything, but, you know, I had to let it go. You know, I didn't have a job. I didn't have no money. I had to let it go, you know, and I had to stay sober, too. And, you know, and that's what this program does. The people in it, when you're hurting, they know, and
Right.
they're there in your corner, you know. And that's what attracted me to AA, that, you know, these people care for me,
Yeah.
you know. They care that I'm going to try to do something with my life instead of being a drug addict or on the street corners, you know, or in jail.
Right.
You know, so that's what attracted me, you know.
We probably would have been dead.
I would have been dead.
Yeah,
you
I
know,
would. I wanted.
You know.
I would have wanted to be dead, which is before I
yeah.
got sober. I wanted to,
Yeah.
and there was suicide attempts. I had screwed up everything so bad that I just wanted to get off the planet, and it didn't happen. And here I am, and
No.
here you are. So we talked in depth of what keeps you sober. But do you have anything else to that? We got going to meetings, and a commitment is if you're, and that's another thing we do, we're part of a certain group, and that group will go out to other AA meetings and speak, as well as that meeting coming to where we are in speaking, and you just saying it beforehand. And I thanked you for being here. You're a
Yeah.
man of your word.
Yeah.
I'm a man of my
Yeah.
word now. I wasn't before. And I thanked you.
I was never a man of my word when I was drinking. It was to get what I wanted, and that was it.
That's right.
You know?
That's right. It was. We were so sick, huh?
Oh,
we
yeah.
were so sick.
Terrible.
We
terrible.
didn't even know how
And look
sick.
at us now. You know, we're prospecting to your community, and you know, I mean, I do a lot of stuff for, like you said, for me, what keeps me sober is going on those commitments. Even though I'm tired or in my group is the most wonderfulest group, I say, in AA.
Yeah.
You know, and if you don't like your group, then get another group.
That's right.
You know?
Or another sponsor.
Yeah.
Or a.
I had Grumpy Don one time as a sponsor. You know, he has passed away, but he kept me sober for that whole year.
And
he was
they didn't
strict
call
with
him
me.
grumpy for nothing. I'll tell you.
No. But he kept me sober.
Yeah.
And he was strict with me, you know?
Hardcore.
Yeah. And it's what kept me sober, you know? And then he told me I need to join a group. He was my sponsor, so I didn't get another sponsor until he fired me. He fired me at one time.
He fired you. He
yeah.
didn't want to work with you anymore.
Well, I wasn't telling him the truth.
Right, yeah.
I had women living at my house. He
Yeah.
wanted to know everything that was going on, you know? And
Yeah.
I don't think he had the right to, but...
No.
But
Yeah.
he kept me sober that whole year. And then I got another sponsor. As soon as he fired me that same day, I got another sponsor. I had to have someone.
Yeah.
And then he moved away, and then I got Judy G. And Judy G was my sponsor for 5 years, a temporary. When I asked her to do the steps with me, she goes, "You need to find a man sponsor."
Amen to
So
that. Gilbert.
now I got a man sponsor. His name is Ron S. He has like 38 years of sobriety.
Yeah.
And he looks younger than me.
Oh, wow.
But he's older than me.
So he's still around.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
He goes to, he's a member to the Ashburnham Norcat group, which is my group. And, you know, matter of fact, I'm going on a commitment Saturday to Charlton.
Oh.
And that's a long ride.
Yeah.
And all my whole life I've been sober. I've gone on commitments my whole sobriety. I never backed out. When I say I'd be there, I'm there.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what keeps me sober, you know? And the fellowship, you know?
Right.
Just standing outside in front of the AA meeting, before the meeting, that stuff.
Yeah.
You know?
I know for Gilbert and myself, this is number one, staying sober and clean.
Yeah.
Number one, because if we aren't sober, all the other stuff, we both know.
All bets
that
are off.
everything's, all bets are off.
Yeah.
And, I'm going to ask, Jack, how much time do we have? Should we wrap it up? Do you have anything else to say?
I just know my life is more wonderful now than it ever has been in my life, you know. I'm working, and I got a roof over my head, and, you know, and it's all because of AA.
Right.
And sobriety.
Wrap it up when you want.
Okay. How long we been going, you think?
30 minutes,
Yeah.
35.
Is that good with you?
Yeah, fine.
I want to thank you for coming
Oh,
down.
no problem.
We
Well worth it.
we understand each other. Gilbert's the kind of guy, and he's up in Gardner at the morning 8:30 meeting. And Gilbert's everybody loves him. They love him. They probably didn't when you weren't sober.
Oh, no, I didn't have too many friends when I was drinking and getting high,
But
no.
everybody loves him up there, and he's the kind of guy, you see Gilbert and you just smile. It's just so helpful, and there's a few laughs before them. You know, of course, I can't say enough. So with that, I guess that's another one, Gilbert. Appreciate it. So that's a wrap. Jack?